Hey, young people, I want to do a couple tips on driving in the rain here for people that don't. You know, being a cop, a lot of times we're going code 3 or rushing places in the rain, so knowing little trips, a few little tips and tricks when you're riding in the rain is kind of helpful. You don't want to be next to cars a whole bunch. If you're passing cars, I mean, I don't know what I'm going here now. Yeah, what's the speed limit? Whatever the speed limit is, that's what I'm going. So anyway, if you notice on the road here, you're going to see, notice right to the center of the lane there where there's a little bit of dry spot. Sometimes that can be oil. And on a motorcycle, you don't want to drive in the middle of the lane. You notice right in the middle of this lane, it's a little darker. And that could be from oil, transmission fluid, dripping. All that oil and things dripping from cars usually lands in the center lane. So the center's normally the slickest part of the lane. Which is, if you're riding a motorcycle, you always want to either ride left or right or center. You don't want to ride in the center of the lane for that very reason. But you'll also notice there's puddles in the road. As I'm going here, look at this lane, you're going to see to where it looks like where another car is coming, it's like cleared the path. So as the tire dries up the road there and gets that water you see flying off that tire, that's going to be a drier part than where the water sticks. See this 18-wheeler, I can tell where it changed lanes here. It dried the lane because he had these big tires. I'm going to try and keep my tires in that dry area if I want more traction. So if I'm going fast, I want to be in the driest part. I want my tires contacting the driest part of the pavement. So if this 18-wheeler is a little to the left here, in this left lane, I want to try and keep my tire. Notice as he changes lanes, I'm going to lose that little dry spot, and it goes back to a wet lane. So when you're driving, see right there, I just hit a puddle and I kind of lost a little bit of traction there. So you can feel when you lose traction. And again, driving right behind a car where you're staying right here, I don't want to stay in this area. I'm getting all this whitewash and all this wash from his tires. Plus, if his tires blows, man, when that rubber comes flying off, it does damage to your car. If you're on a motorcycle, it'll take you out. But driving in the rain, especially at speeds, you want to try and stay in the drier areas. If you see a little dry area, right to the center, to the right there, or right to the right of the lane, it looks a little drier. Now I'm kind of losing to where there's no cars driven by here, so the whole road's kind of wet. So I'm going to slow down just a little bit here because I'm losing traction. Traction on cars, when you go through driver training and stuff, it's all about contact patch. Your contact patch is what part of the tire touches the road. And when you're in snow, mud, rain, less of your tire is touching a dry road. So you have what's called a smaller contact patch. Smaller the contact patch, the easier it is to get in a slide, either oversteer or understeer, where your rear end swings around. Oversteer is where I steer more than a car. Oh, we got somebody up here. Maybe I can give you a good example of what happens in oversteer if there's a crash up here. But anyway, oversteer, understeer, you're going on corners. You want to slow down a little bit. Anytime you change speed, if I hit my brakes or if I speed up, I'm changing my contact patches. And that means it's easier for me to get into a slide. Jesus Christ, man. Texas, they got the worst damn idiot ways of blocking. Look at this. You got to call out the fire department to block all these stinking lanes because there's an accident when you could just pull off the side of the road and let people drive by. Well, hell, they actually moved over. Imagine that. Shocker. So, this is what a good example of oversteer. He got a little going fast there. His car spun out. And, oh, I just kind of took off and did a little fishtail there because I lost my contact patch. Again, when you speed up or slow down, you're losing contact patch. So, I'm right up here by the Fort Worth Speedway in case somebody's wondering where I'm at. Anyway, driving, being aware of those things, especially if you're going fast, you're trying to catch somebody or running from somebody and you're trying to get away from somebody. You know, wet roads, snow road, mud roads, you're losing contact patch. And when you're losing contact patch, that means you've got to reduce speed. Speed loses contact patch. The faster you go, the more you hit these puddles. You hit a patch of mud, you hit a spill where there's an accident and there's radiator fluid or oil on the road, and you lose that traction. That's how you get cars spinning out and wrecking. So anyway, figured I'd cover a little bit of driving there on these corners here. Again, if it's wet, I got a smaller contact patch. Now I've got forces pushing me to the outside of this turn. I need to slow down. If I'm going fast or in a hurry, better be aware of that or you're not going to get where you're going. All right, we'll end that there on some defensive driving or driving in the rain or lost a contact patch.